In the heart of East Africa, where rolling green hills meet golden sunsets, something extraordinary is unfolding. A quiet but powerful alliance is being forged, one that could redefine Rwanda's economic destiny and reshape Africa's gold industry forever. For decades, Africa has been known as a land rich in natural resources but poor in the industries that process them. Gold has flowed out of African soil, raw, unrefined, unprocessed, carried away to foreign refineries thousands of miles away. But now, that story is about to change. Because India, one of the world's fastest growing economies, has just signed a landmark deal with Rwanda, a deal that will see the construction of Rwanda's first ever gold refinery. A project that will not only process gold from the Karongi and Nyamagabe districts, but also position Rwanda as a regional hub for gold refining and trade. This is not just another business deal. It is a symbol of a new African awakening, where nations like Rwanda, guided by visionary leadership, are no longer exporting their wealth for others to profit from. Instead, they are bringing value addition, technology, and jobs home. And India's role in this transformation is more than economic, it's deeply strategic. Because while global powers like the United States and China compete for influence in Africa, India is quietly building something stronger: trust, respect, and long-term partnership. Welcome to the story of how Rwanda and India joined hands to build the country's first gold refinery, how it could change Africa's gold economy, and why this deal is making the world take notice. This is Iazicho Africa, and today we explore the dawn of Rwanda's golden future. Few people know that Rwanda, beyond its beauty and progress, sits on untapped mineral wealth. Beneath its hills and forests lie significant deposits of gold, especially in the Karongi and Nyamagabe districts in the western and southern provinces. For years, artisanal miners in these areas extracted gold manually, with simple tools, basic pans, and endless labor. The gold was often sold cheaply, exported raw, and refined abroad. The profit margin for local communities remained painfully small. Rwanda's government has been working for years to change this reality, to create a modern mining sector that benefits Rwandans first. Enter India. India has been one of the world's top gold consumers and refiners for decades. With its advanced refining technologies and vast jewelry industry, India knows how to turn raw gold into high-value products. But more importantly, India has been deepening its ties with Africa, especially nations that share its vision of development through cooperation, not exploitation. When Rwandan President Paul Kagame met with Indian trade representatives earlier this year, the goal was clear: to attract investment that builds industries within Rwanda. Not just mining, but refining, the part of the gold value chain where the real money is made. The result was a deal that made headlines across Africa. India will partner with Rwanda to build the first ever gold refinery, designed to process gold not only from Karongi and Nyamagabe, but potentially from neighboring countries as well. This refinery will mean local processing of gold, cutting export losses, job creation for Rwandan engineers, miners, and technicians, technology transfer from Indian firms to Rwandan industry, and a new stream of revenue for the Rwandan economy. It is, in every sense, a game changer. The agreement, valued at tens of millions of dollars, is part of a larger framework of India-Africa cooperation in industrial development. The refinery, which will be built in Rwanda's western region, is expected to process up to 1 ton of gold per month once operational. The facility will meet international refining standards, allowing Rwanda to export refined gold bars directly to the global market. The partnership involves a collaboration between Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board (RMB), and leading Indian metallurgical firms known for gold refining expertise. Indian engineers will work closely with Rwandan technicians, ensuring skills transfer and sustainable operation. Beyond gold, the project is symbolic. It reflects India's commitment to helping African nations move up the global value chain, a stark contrast to older trade models where Africa exported raw materials and imported finished goods. For Rwanda, the move fits perfectly with President Kagame's Made in Rwanda vision, to make Rwanda a center for innovation, technology, and self-reliance. For India, it strengthens its presence in East Africa, enhancing access to raw materials while building trust and cooperation with African partners. The deal also strengthens South-South cooperation, a concept that defines collaboration among developing nations, sharing expertise, technology, and investment to achieve mutual growth. And it comes at a time when the global gold market is heating up. With increasing geopolitical tensions, inflation, and shifting trade routes, gold has once again become a global security asset. For India to partner with Rwanda in building a refinery now means both nations are positioning themselves smartly in a changing world economy. To understand why India chose Rwanda, you have to look beyond maps and markets and into the heart of diplomacy. For India, Rwanda isn't just another African nation. It is a model of stability, progress, and clean governance. In a continent where political uncertainty can discourage investors, Rwanda stands tall, a country that rebuilt itself from tragedy into one of Africa's most inspiring success stories. President Paul Kagame's leadership has turned Rwanda into a hub of efficiency, safety, and innovation. From smart cities in Kigali to world-class infrastructure and digital governance, Rwanda has shown what African determination can achieve. India noticed. Over the past decade, Indian companies have invested heavily across Africa in pharmaceuticals, agriculture, energy, and technology, but Rwanda stood out as a place where investment truly delivers results. India's ambassador to Rwanda once described the nation as a land where projects turn into progress. That's why this gold refinery deal makes perfect sense. Rwanda offers political stability and low corruption, strategic geographic position in East Africa near gold-producing neighbors like the DRC, Tanzania, and Uganda, supportive government policies encouraging industrial growth. And for India, which refines hundreds of tons of gold annually, partnering with Rwanda means establishing a reliable African base, a hub for refining not only Rwandan gold, but possibly gold from across the Great Lakes region. But this isn't just about economics. It's also about trust and mutual respect, something that defines India's relationships in Africa. Unlike some other powers that come with military bases or debt-heavy projects, India's approach is different. It focuses on capacity building, training, and shared prosperity. For example, India has already trained thousands of African professionals in technical institutes under its Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation (ITEC) program. It has built IT centers, agricultural labs, and vocational training schools across the continent. So when Rwanda welcomed India's proposal for the gold refinery, it wasn't just welcoming foreign investment. It was welcoming a partner who brings skills, jobs, and long-term commitment. This is why the deal has been described by analysts as a golden alliance built on trust. A partnership where Rwanda gains industry, India gains access, and Africa gains independence from the cycle of exporting raw materials and importing finished products. The economic implications of this refinery are massive. For Rwanda, it could mark the beginning of a gold-based industrial revolution. Until now, most of Rwanda's gold exports were raw, meaning they generated only a fraction of their potential value. With the refinery in operation, Rwanda will be able to refine gold locally, increasing its market value by over 30%. Export refined bars directly to Dubai, India, and Europe, bypassing middlemen. Generate hundreds of skilled jobs in metallurgy, logistics, and engineering. Boost government revenue through taxes and export duties. Local miners, especially in Karongi and Nyamagabe, will finally see fairer prices for their gold. Women and youth involved in small-scale mining cooperatives will benefit from training and technology access. But the ripple effects go far beyond Rwanda's borders. Globe showing Europe, Africa, for East Africa. Rwanda could become the regional hub for gold refining, meaning miners from Uganda, Burundi, and even Eastern DRC could choose to refine their gold in Kigali rather than shipping it abroad. That would make Rwanda a new center of value addition in Africa's mineral chain, reducing capital flight and keeping wealth on the continent. India for India. India secures a foothold in Africa's gold industry, strengthening its role as both a consumer and refiner nation. It also enhances India's image as a development partner that empowers rather than exploits. Indian engineers will oversee the construction phase, and Rwandan technicians will be trained in advanced refining techniques, ensuring long-term sustainability. The partnership could also open the door for jewelry manufacturing, gold-backed financial products, and export diversification, transforming Rwanda into a mini Dubai of East Africa. Moneybag the numbers. Experts estimate that the refinery could process up to 12 tons of gold annually once it reaches full capacity. That's gold worth over $700 million per year at current market prices. Even if Rwanda retains a small portion of that value through taxes, wages, and local ownership, the impact on GDP will be transformative. But perhaps the most valuable thing Rwanda gains is not just money, it's control. Control over its natural resources. Control over how its gold is valued, refined, and sold. And control over its own destiny. When the news broke that India and Rwanda had signed this deal, the reaction was swift and telling. Across African economic circles, many hailed it as a bold step toward African industrial independence. But in Western capitals, there was quiet surprise and even unease. For decades, gold from Africa has flowed north and west to London, Zurich, and Dubai. African countries mined it, but they didn't refine it. That meant billions of dollars in value left the continent each year. Now, with this single project, Rwanda is saying, we can refine our own gold. We can write our own story. And India is helping make that a reality. This shift is part of a broader trend, the rise of the global south, where developing nations are forming alliances that bypass old systems of dependency. The United States and Europe are watching closely. China too, as India strengthens its footprint in Africa through diplomacy, not domination. Analysts call it soft power with substance. India's projects, from solar power plants in Kenya to railway partnerships in Ethiopia, and now this gold refinery in Rwanda, are redefining what development cooperation looks like. For African nations, it's a refreshing change, because India's approach is about partnership, not pressure. And for the people of Rwanda, it's about finally seeing gold, not just as a mineral buried underground, but as a symbol of pride and prosperity. The foundation stone of Rwanda's first gold refinery marks more than the start of construction. It marks the start of a new economic chapter. Once operational, the refinery is expected to inspire other African countries to follow suit. Imagine an Africa where every resource is refined at home, every mineral is processed locally, and every dollar of value is kept within African borders. This project proves it's possible. For India, the success of the Rwandan refinery will open doors to similar collaborations in Ghana, Tanzania, and Ethiopia, all nations eager to industrialize their mining sectors. For Rwanda, it's another milestone on its journey to becoming one of Africa's most advanced economies by 2035. But beyond policies and profits, this deal carries something deeper: hope. Hope that Africa can finally take charge of its destiny. Hope that partnerships built on respect can change the global order. And hope that from the hills of Karongi and Nyamagabe, a new generation of Africans will see that prosperity doesn't have to come from abroad. It can be built right here on African soil. As the sun sets over Rwanda's western provinces, the golden rays dance on rivers that will one day lead to the refinery gates. It's a poetic reflection of what this deal represents: light emerging from hard work, unity, and vision. India and Rwanda have shown that development isn't just about numbers. It's about trust, technology, and transformation. This partnership will not only process gold, it will refine opportunity, purify ambition, and forge a future where Africa's resources benefit its own people first. And while others may be surprised by how quickly Rwanda is rising, those who followed the story of its resilience know this truth. You can't stop a nation whose people believe in their own power. So as the world watches this historic project unfold, remember, the gold being refined in Rwanda is more than metal. It's the shining symbol of an Africa that's finally taking control of its destiny. This is Eazicho Africa, and this was India's Signs deal to build first ever gold refinery in Rwanda. Stay tuned, because the story of Africa's rise has just begun, and the next chapter will be even brighter.